So one of the most basic and important forms in all of jazz, but one of the most challenging to get a grip on, is the blues, the 12-bar blues. It's really the foundation, spiritually and also technically, form-wise, and it kind of informs a lot of the ways that most of the master musicians play. I took some liberties of starting out in kind of more of an early jazz style. The normal, how we would think of 1-4-2-5-1 blues. So. Back to the one chord. So that's a very legato take on the blues, and one where I'm playing the solo piano style, where I'm actually really focused on the bass movement. Really practice. I always say you should be able to send a text message while you're doing this. You should be able to make a sandwich while you're doing this. To give you the freedom to then improvise with your right hand. So this is a whole practice here, a whole study. And if you need to write it out, see what works for your hands, and then we find patterns and things. So this is something that I've done a couple of times now. And we want to add the right hand. I'm improvising now. When you release that, okay, so right there, I was really just playing from my heart. I was really just trying to express and to communicate just that feeling, to keep it dancing, to keep it moving, and to really stress the importance of practicing hands alone when doing something like this and working on this. But let's dive into a little bit of the technical details. So I'm playing in B flat, starting with the 1 chord, and then we're going to the 4 chord. So in order to get to the 4 chord from the 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's only 1 bar to get to the 4 chord, right? So what are we going to play in that bar? 1, 2, then we need another chord before we get to the E flat. So it's almost like working backwards in math or something like that. So in order to get to the 4 chord, just the E flat, I was using 2 different approaches. One is from the top, so I was playing some kind of an E chord to get to the E flat. And the other approach I was using was from the bottom, to go from D, which is a little more of an old school. So let's say we're going to start with the E. So we can do a number of qualities for that E chord. Dominant is a nice one to use. Yeah. Little E diminished to 1/5. So then with the bass movement is this. That's almost like its own little melody right there. Okay, so now if we want to put some chords to that. So you might want to slow that down. You might want to take it hands alone. But what I'm doing there is to E7, to E flat 7, E diminished. That's 1/5 to 5. And then we're going to walk right up. That's a great way to walk up. Check it out. B flat, C minor, C diminished, to B flat over D. It's kind of a church sound. So here we go. One more time. So that's how we get from the one way we could get from the 1 to the 4 chord in a very simplistic manner, considering kind of the earlier style of jazz, and we're going to kind of evolve that as we go along. But now we're going to take this from the 4 chord and see what we can do from here. So we got a whole bar on the 4 chord, E flat 7. And then the next chord, E diminished, into 1, and I was going here to pass A flat 7 to get to the 6th chord. So from here it goes E flat to E diminished to B flat over F, A flat 7, G7, B diminished, C, F, A diminished. And once you have the general feeling, then you can begin. To E7. E diminished. A flat. It's a good walk up here. To D, E flat, E diminished. It's that whole tone scale we talked about earlier.